Morning, even afternoon, we got a banger for y'all today, baby. Got a video from T-Dog here, as always, put his YouTube, etc. in the description of this video. Be sure to go check him out. This is a great video. It's the entire history of pay to win throughout Call of Duty. I didn't even realize some of these were in the game. This video is super well done, super great. Hope y'all enjoy it, man, and when you do, hit the like, hit the sub for me. Most importantly, be sure to tell somebody you love them. I'll catch you in the next one.
Pay to win is a concept
that
no player ever wants to hear. And COD has done a good job straying away from that ideology in recent years. But it wasn't always like this.
Okay, obviously Rose is going to be on here, right? And I wonder if he's going to comment. There was a bundle. There was a bundle you can buy where it one shot.
So join me as we take a look at the entire history of pay to win in Call of Duty. It wouldn't be until Black Ops 2 where we would see a very minor pay to win scheme in Call of Duty. As a part of the Revolution DLC map pack, Treyarch would include a new SMG/AR hybrid gun alongside the DLC known as the Peacekeeper. And this was not only dominating the meta, but it quickly became a fan favorite gun in Call of Duty. This is pay to win done right, because in all honesty, it's not that much of a pay-to-win experience. During this state of Call of Duty, the games were shipped with fully fleshed out experiences. And later on, DLC maps were always expected and paid for, and the community really had no problem with it. The reason for that is the launch content was so good, it always left the player wanting more, even if that meant shoveling some money their way, since they knew that they would be getting more great content. So back to the Peacekeeper. Since this was a DLC gun back when DLC was widely accepted by players, it resulted in the most modest version of pay to win, if you even want to call it pay to win, that Call of Duty has ever seen. Since anyone and everyone was going to be buying the DLC, people were excited to hear about a new gun making its way into the game, and were quickly begging for more, even though this would be the one and only DLC
Black Ops 2 is so good, bro.
Ghost had an identical system that Black Ops 2,
one of the most undervalued Call of Duty games, in my opinion, doesn't get enough respect,
would have, and that DLC packs came with new guns as well. This time, each DLC came with a gun, but there's really only two worth talking about. The Maverick was one of, if not the best AR in the game, and came with one of the cleanest iron sights in all of Call of Duty. Then you had the Ripper, which was an AR SMG hybrid gun, but unlike the Peacekeeper, had a toggle mode that would convert it into whichever gun you would like. This would change the handling dramatically and was obviously very versatile, and then you had one gun to use at long, medium, and short range, which no other gun was capable of. Advanced Warfare would create a new system for obtaining post-launch weapons in the form of supply drops. With over 10 post-launch guns the game, only 2 of which being a part of DLC map packs, this is where things started to get out of hand. Sure, supply crates were earned through playing, but if you wanted to buy them outright with cash, you could do this. After doing so, you're still not even guaranteed a gun, let alone the gun you wanted. On top of this, this also introduced different variants of guns, somewhat similar to a blueprint system we have right now, except it completely altered the stats of the gun. Bro. And yes, you also got these from supply boxes.
What's crazy is you could like get a rare gun that was like super OP.
A lot of the time it would raise a couple of stats while lowering a few others, but there were some that were objectively the best and put you at a massive advantage. In theory, you could get all of these guns and variants. This resulted in a very frustrating system that players universally despised, but was unfortunately here to stay, as we're about to see it with the later games. BO3 had pretty much the same system as Advanced Warfare, but this time with over 30 guns. They even teased us with classic guns such as the M16, the Galil, AK-74U, MSMC, and MP40. They also added a handful of broken new guns like the Marshall, which was a double-barrel pistol shotgun that you could even run akimbo. Aside from the supply crate overload, we would see a new
can I have those as my secondary?
This time being implemented in the zombies mode. I know what you're thinking. How on earth could zombies become pay to win? Well, just hear me out. With Black Ops 3 Zombies, we got the new Gobblegum system, which was similar to perks, but had some crazy effects that no perk could ever achieve. Aside from the classic Gobblegums that you could use as many times as you wanted, there were mega Gobblegums that you only had a finite amount of. And you guessed it, you could buy more of them with real money. The way the system worked was by giving you liquid divinium by playing zombies, which you could use then randomly to distill mega Gobblegums.
I didn't even know about all this because I'm not a huge zombies guy.
But usually you'd only get maybe 3 on a solid game of zombies, which was enough divinium for 1 distill. Now the reason this could be considered pay to win is there's some game-changing mega gobblegums that make your experience a whole lot easier, especially if you're trying for an Easter egg. Perkaholic immediately gives you every perk on the map, and Shopping Free gives you 1 minute of unlimited money to essentially open the entire map. So when there's people who can spend money on Liquid Divinium, they have a big head start over those who can't.
So it all really started with
on the legacy of the previous
Advanced
games
Warfare,
on the list, this time bringing in one of the most
Infinite Warfare, by the way, one of the worst Call of Duties ever created.
Broken guns we've ever seen in Call of Duty history. The Proteus was a supply drop gun that we actually mentioned on this channel in our glitches video. This gun had an actual aimbot preloaded onto it and would kill anyone on your screen, and even shot several bullets at the same time without having to aim.
On second thought, that gun's not that bad. Let's bring it back. And can I have it?
Making the gun
not only let's bring it back, put it on my account, don't give it to anyone else.
Overpowered is one thing, but creating a gun that essentially had cheats installed onto it is a discreet way to drive up your supply crate sales. COD 4 Remastered would also be caught with DLC guns added to its arsenal and a supply drop system as well. Although this time you could somewhat choose which guns you could earn, with 2 different variants of supply drops, one of which with the chance to earn previous guns, and the other with a chance to earn the newer guns that had just dropped. This left the community torn into different viewpoints. Some saying this was a refreshing new way to experience a beloved COD game, giving it not only a fresh coat of paint, but new features to go alongside with it. And others were saying that this was ruining a timeless classic by adding guns to the game that were never there in the first place and shouldn't be. But which side were you on? The next 2 CODs would be World War II and BO4, both continuing this hated practice and combining over 50 DLC guns between the 2 games that were really showcasing how far we've come from the traditional COD experience. It wouldn't be until Modern Warfare 2019 where we would get a new system that is also the system we know and love today, but even this still has its flaws. Now, when new guns are added to the game, they're either unlocked through challenges or the free portion of the battle pass. This gives everyone the opportunity to get these new guns, even if you don't buy the battle pass. Furthermore, if you're a free-to-play Warzone player, you can still unlock all these guns if you play enough. This is probably objectively the most fair version of adding new guns to the game in today's gaming climate where battle passes have taken over. While we're talking about Warzone, we can't overlook the infamous Rose skin, which was plaguing lobbies left and right with its notoriously difficult visual appearance.
Come on.
At tier 100 of Warzone's first battle pass, you would get this skin, and it was the skin that everyone was using in Verdansk because of how easy it was to blend in with your surroundings. It would eventually get a nerf, but would still have instances where you wouldn't be able to see it, making it one of the most sought after skins in Warzone. Cold War would be pretty much safe from the pay to
Also, I know he like Warzone technically with some of the blueprints, like certain things on the guns would be different. Even to this day, there's still benefits on sometimes getting a blueprint and then using that site, et cetera, et cetera. So it's still slightly there, but nothing like the crates. I'll say that.
Until the first battle pass, which came with the gallantry blueprint for the MAC-10. This blueprint had buff damage across the board.
I forgot about this.
And gave the player a significant advantage.
I should have just waited. My bad, T.
The MAC-10 was also an amazing SMG on its own, so having an even better version of it certainly wasn't necessary and was destroying the meta. To put it in perspective how much damage this was doing, it was equivalent of hitting nothing but headshots with a standard MAC-10, but instead of hitting headshots, you could be hitting limb shots. Then on top of that, chest and headshots dealt even more damage than the MAC-10 was ever supposed to be capable of doing. Do you think that this was an unintended glitch or another cheeky way to drive up battle pass sales? A major selling point for blueprints is the tracers that some of these guns have. A lot of them are just for show and even give your enemy a death effect along with it. Well, the Automaton had a blueprint that gave it a red tracer, which is nothing out of the ordinary, until you were getting shot at by it. As a part of the red reactor tracer pack, it would blind anyone you were actively shooting at.
So he did talk about certain
nearly
blueprints
impossible for them to shoot back. Players were already fed up with Vanguard as a game in general, and having this blueprint around surely wasn't helping its case, especially because the Automaton was the meta in just about any game mode. Now on to MW2, which just before the launch of MW3, dropped a paranormal investigator pack. And surprisingly enough, the broken aspect about this pack was not an operator, not a blueprint, and not a reticle, but a gun screen. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't know that.
Screen. The Ghost Tracker gun screen gave you 4 times the amount of score towards your score streak, which quickly broke lobbies left and right. To give you an idea of how broken this was, you could get a Juggernaut in 3 kills if you had Hardline on. The reason this worked was because this was during a Halloween event.
Bro, I didn't even know about this.
Players would drop souls that got XP for picking them up.
Oh my God.
Kind of like a dog tag and kill confirmed. Then this gun screen would automatically absorb them, giving you 3 souls on top of the kill you already got. It was never easier to get a gun ship than when this gun screen dropped.
Didn't even know about that, bro.
MW2, we got DMZ, and some argue this game is entirely pay to win, with many operators giving you an entirely new active duty slot.
That's probably the most pay to win thing we got right now,
giving you a free UAV at the start of each
deployment. DMZ, is it even in the game anymore? I don't even know.
A medium backpack, and even blueprints that go on your gun that give you a significantly reduced cooldown. There's no denying that you could get a considerable head start had you invested some of your own cash in DMZ. Now we're at Modern Warfare 3, where the pay-to-win methodology has tapered off significantly. Actually, the last few years of COD have been pretty tame when it comes to pay-to-win. The current system for new content is probably the most efficient, but certainly not the most perfect. So my question for you is, do you miss the old days of paying full price for a game, then paying more money for the DLC and getting new guns alongside it? Or would you rather have the current system, where all the content is free after a one-time purchase, but then you have everything revolve around a battle pass? Whichever side you're on, I think we all can agree that the supply drop system was one of the worst eras in Call of Duty history. For the most part, the most recent examples of pay to win have been unintended bugs or glitches for items to act in a way that they weren't supposed to, or were they? That's up for you to decide. So, do you think COD is pay to win today? And also, what's the most pay to win feature COD has ever seen? Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next one.
Interesting, bro. I think that I just realized it wasn't a sub to you, by the way, T-Dog. Everyone go make sure you hit the sub button right here on T-Dog, bro. It's super interesting, man, because there is like a slight element in it still, right? In the sense of the bundles, man. I just did one with the Fallout site. It's just a much better site. But the thing is like, do they intend that? I don't know, right? But I think we can all agree nothing is as pay to win as that loot box system, man. That was, you want to talk about pay to win, bro.